Okay, now, what I'm seeing at least 11 things. The nice thing is there are things that you can do and things you can walk out of here and do, and it might be one thing and it might be 5 things, but there's at least one thing that you can take away to do to impact your situation regarding rent control. The first thing, know the rules. So again, we're in a state of flux right now. We don't know the rules. We're talking about what might be in backdoor rooms in Salem and committees, and we have no idea today. But keep informed, know the rules. I'll send updates. If you leave your email, I'll send you updates as well. I'll also send a bunch of bonus items, the articles I talked about from Portland State and organizations. I'll send it all to you guys in a link later today. But know the rules. We don't know them all right now, but just keep informed on the rules. The second one, pay attention to all of the lease ending dates. I talked to an owner last week who bought a property and realized, actually owned a property for 20 years and had people on month to month and some leases. He manages the property himself, and he went to renew a lease, and he realized that it was within a 90-day period, and he had restrictions because he didn't give notice to his tenants. So whether you're self-managing or even if you have a property manager managing for you, it may be a good idea to pay attention to your tenants' lease ending dates. Okay, third one, consider hiring a property manager. More laws and more rules make it more complex and more treacherous, frankly, more punitive now to make mistakes, where in the past it may not have been a big deal. 4, somebody else mentioned this already, hire an attorney or at least have a relationship with one. Nice to at least know who to call if something comes up. Andy Haas is a owner's landlord advocate for years. He's an attorney that has been involved with this. He's a good option, but at least have a relationship with a couple so you know who to talk to. Okay, 5, learn all the legal ways to pre-qualify tenants. And again, that might just be hiring the right manager so they do the right job. I guess you could learn all the illegal ways too. Okay, 6, get involved. And there are a number of ways to get involved. Dave talked about it. There are a number of organizations like the Oregon Rental Housing Alliance, or the Portland Rental Housing Alliance. They have meetings once a month, and they are in contact with lobbyists. Metro Family Northwest is another organization. I'll send you a link to some organizations that you can get involved with and get more information that way with landlord organizations. Call your representatives. You can call your senator, you can call your other representatives. I'll send that in a link as well, where you can just click on a link, type in your address, and get to see who to call and who to contact. I did it myself. I live in Northeast Portland, and it was an interesting conversation. I talked to Lou Frederick's assistant, and it was very interesting because I just called up to say I opposed the HB 2004, and right away the guy said, well, we're voting for it, and what do you not like about it? And I wasn't ready to have a real conversation with somebody, but I just talked about the things we're talking about today, and it was very interesting. He said he's getting a lot of calls against HB 2004, but they were getting many more calls in favor of it in Northeast Portland. So I would say get involved and call your representatives, because that's how you get your voice heard. And it was interesting, the guy's comment was, I've been reviewing the research and the sky is falling approach to rent control. I'm just not seeing that anywhere in the research. And I wanted to say, well, what research are you reading? So be prepared to have a phone conversation, which is great. All right. Join Rental Housing Alliance, we just talked about that. I immediately liked this guy, Ron Garcia, because he told a story in one of his letters on the website. He said there's a story of the tenant was moving out of her property, her apartment building. She called a local pet store and she asked to put on an order for 20,000 cockroaches. And the pet store clerk said, "Why in the world would you want 20,000 cockroaches?" And the tenant said, "Well, my lease says I've got to leave the unit in the exact condition I had it when I moved in." So, so I told Ron I would give him credit for that story, and he said he stole that story as well, so it was okay. But he's the Oregon Rental Housing Alliance president, and that's the opposite experience I'm seeing happen in Portland now with the cockroaches. Join Multifamily Northwest. They're a really quality organization and a very strong landlord advocate and a good resources. Donate to landlord causes. There's a multifamily defense fund, which Multifamily Northwest heads up. And then there's an equitable housing pack. I believe the equitable housing pack, one of them is private and nobody knows about it. The other one is public. I'll send you the links to those. You can donate money to that fund. Apparently it's making a big difference. I donated a little bit personally myself, but that's something you can do to get involved as well. And that's what you said, Dave. And the last thing is you can buy other types of real estate. As you may not want to, but the other types of real estate aren't going in, industrial, retail spaces, they're not talking about rent control. So it's definitely an option to talk about.